Hello everyone and welcome to a camera comparison. So I wanted to compare all three of the Mi 10T models. So that is the Mi 10T, the 10T Lite and the 10T Pro. Now the difference between the 10T and the 10T Pro is the main camera. That's basically it, and 2 gigabytes more RAM. That you have to pay 100 euros more for. So I wanted to get to the bottom of this and to find out, is the 64 megapixel camera going to be just as good as the 108 megapixel one we have on the Pro model? And what about the Lite? Can the Lite still offer decent quality? So what you're looking at, of course, is front-facing selfie footage here, 1080p. Difference in the audio as I swap between the audio sources. The 10T and the 10T Pro exactly the same, but the 10T Lite does have a 96 kilobit per second bit rate instead of 320 as we have on the others. Let's have a look at the rear cameras now. So we're looking at the rear main cameras right now, and they are all shooting 4K 30 frames per second. Focus across all three of these Xiaomi phones here. Not bad, no real major issues or problems, no pulsing focus. Panning around, is there judder coming through more? I think on the 10T Lite. So we have 64 megapixel sensors on the 10T Lite and the 10T. It is the Sony IMX6H2. No optical image stabilization, just electronic. Up against now, as I jog ahead, the optically stabilized Samsung 108 megapixel HMX sensor. So it looks like it is actually winning here with the stability, although the 10T doesn't actually look too bad. Another pan around. Are we going to see more judder coming through on the cheaper phone? This is ultra-wide video now, so we've got a 13 megapixel on the 10T and the 10T Pro ultra-wide, and 8 megapixel on the 10T Lite. So is that going to make a big difference in video? The sharpness, not as good on all three as the main camera. And that stabilization, just going to jog ahead a little bit. And if you're wondering, what am I looking at here? What are you looking at is, well, the remains of some windmills, 17th century windmills in Havia, Mediterranean coast. Town of Havia is just down there in the distance. Now let's take a look at low light video. So the front facing cameras are 220 megapixel ones. Are they doing a better job than the 16 megapixel on the 10T Lite? To me it looks pretty much about the same here across all three of them. Perhaps yeah, maybe the Snapdragon 865 ones are doing a little better. I really need to get this onto a monitor to take a look. So let's take a look at the rear camera now in low light. This is 4K 30 frames per second again, because the Mi 10T Lite cannot shoot 4K 60. It's the reason why I'm keeping it to 4K 30. And all three of them struggling here. But it looks like the optical image stabilization may be giving that 10T Pro the advantage in video. It just looks a little sharper to me, I think, with the 10T Pro. But let us know in the comments. And as I pan around, one here has the most judder with low light. All three seem to be okay here at the moment. So let me quickly go over my findings here. So for video performance, clearly the Mi 10T or the Mi 10T Pro was the best. Now the Mi 10T Pro, because of its optical image stabilization, was much better in low light. So if you tend to take a lot of low light video and photos, I would go for the Mi 10T Pro. Now the Mi 10T did actually do pretty good with the daytime stills. Sometimes I think it was capturing even a little bit more detail. And then the 10T Lite also did well with daytime. Sometimes the Ultrawide even had the best colors I found when you looked at the sky. Now in terms of video quality, the Mi 10T Lite, yeah, that electronic image stabilization didn't seem to be working at all, or hardly any electronic image stabilization, and the poorer audio of the two more expensive Snapdragon 865 flagships, which kind of makes sense. They used a lower bit rate as well, 96 kilobits per second instead of 320. Now for low light stills, the optical image stabilization, as we all expected, definitely helps out to get a steadier shot. That doesn't mean that sometimes the 10T Lite actually took a pretty good shot. If you have a very steady hand or you use a tripod, you could probably get the same kind of results as the more expensive model. And I think the selfies as well, wider field of view and just a little bit more detail came through with the Mi 10T Lite, which is unexpected because it's the cheaper phone, and the 16 megapixel camera perhaps just let in a little bit more light. Overall, the results were pretty much as I expected they would be. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I do hope to see you back in the next one. Bye for now.